somehow Nintendo never ceases to amaze me. Literally, of course, on a random Monday, they decide, oh yeah, let's go ahead and announce the Fire Emblem Fortunes Weave Direct. Let's focus on that for now. Because of course they would. Regardless of the fact that we still have a couple of months before release. Wait, no, sorry, it's next month. It's August now, and that's amazing. They gave us a full 22-minute direct for Fire Emblem Fortunes Weave, and oh my goodness, what a treat, man. I knew that after watching that, I was going to be sold. I just had a gut feeling. I'm like, they haven't shown off much to impress me yet for Fortunes Weave, and that's okay. It's usually during like one of these directs or one of these showcases that they do where I finally get in tune with what they're trying to sell to me. And yeah, I'm excited for Fortunes Weave. Baseline, it looks better and it looks like it feels better than both Three Houses and Engage all at the same time, where it has the story and narrative driven focus of Three Houses with the gameplay and just goofy fun aspects of the action that Engage had to offer times 3. So suffice to say, I'm looking very much forward to it, right? First things first, we gotta give a shout out to the melanin. Man, they got so much melanin in this game now, and that is, to a brother like me, that type of rep goes absolutely crazy. Of course, you could look at that first main character that they introduced and you could tell that is a Zeno Robinson coded character, if there has ever been one. And sure enough, that boy is so excited to be a part of the universe of Fire Emblem, and it's looking like a phenomenal time. Of course, the sisters are looking great too. It looks like it's going to be a great time to get to know all these characters. Their designs are just genuinely all types of immaculate, right? And that goes for oh, I got hiccups. Oh no. A lot of the other characters that were introduced within this gameplay segment too, right? They were showing off so many different characters on all the different classes and things like that. And that is just, it's a good looking game, right? It's just from a baseline standpoint, based on the almost just no resolution that we had in Three Houses, it is a just massive technical leap, right? Of course, there are a few aspects that maybe look a little bit dated, but maybe it's because, you know, we don't have it for ourselves yet. Like maybe once we're playing it on our own home screens, maybe we'll actually see the proper visual fidelity that they were trying to showcase here. Maybe we just can't really see it for ourselves just yet, but hopefully it proves to be something really, really special, right? In terms of performance and, you know, looks. But so far, very good stuff. Next, I wanted to touch upon like all the different classes and stuff like that. They have some crazy ass looking classes this time around. One of the craziest ones, I forgot what it's called, but the Aru called her. It was Aru claims it's a Turkish lady with the blicky, the one that had the iron on her. She said, we out of magic, but we ain't out of options. You know what I'm saying? She blasted them bitches, bro. That looked phenomenal. I am so enamored by the fact that they always find a way to get as goofy as humanly possible. They said, I know somebody just asked up there. They said, how can we get a blicky in there? Like, how can we get the iron in there? You know what I'm saying? And they found a way. And I could not be more happy with the one of the most ridiculous decisions I have ever seen. That character is already a meme, and she's going to be used on every single team ever. And that is genuinely incredible. Oh my god, I'm so excited to abuse all of these classes. Of course, we have the Elephant Rider class, which is actually terrifying as hell. Like that almost just seems like a temporary transformation. Like it doesn't seem real that that's just a class. Like why? I mean, sure, but why? I don't know. I also wanted to touch on gameplay aspect wise, the fact that we are going to be going back and forth between all of these characters. Right? We are, again, this is a sequel to Three Houses. You got to keep that in mind, right? So the fact that we're going to be going between each of these stories, we're going to be interweaving between 4 different stories simultaneously, is some of the craziest stuff that I've ever heard, right? Especially because coming hot off the heels of well, I guess not hot off the heels, but you know, being a sequel to Three Houses, you kind of got to look back and you remember that with Three Houses, it was meant to be played multiple times completely on separate save files, because those were completely fresh playthroughs, even though there were decisions to be made to differentiate each playthrough, right? You're obviously choosing your house, you're choosing your students, and you're getting a completely different story based on those choices. In this situation here, they're not expecting you to just completely finish out one story and then come back to another one by restarting the entirety of the game. They expect you to just kind of go bit by bit and then, you know, swap over to another character and help them bit by bit, and then, you know, vice versa, not vice versa, just kind of swap and interweave between each of these stories simultaneously. And that's a really interesting mechanic that they decided to go with. And we're going to talk about like the story aspect of it in a little bit here, but I just wanted to acknowledge, like, from a gameplay aspect, I feel like that's going to be really weird unless they have a natural like stopping point for each of those stories. I don't understand entirely how that's going to work, but I'm very intrigued by it. And knowing Nintendo, you know, they're developers, they usually have some crazy and unique way to make it feel much more natural to interweave between the stories, especially when, you know, those stories are going to end up connecting at some point, right? So I am intrigued by that concept, and I really do wonder how they're going to go about that, right? The next thing that I want to acknowledge, one of the biggest things, is the fact that we have like we brought back the calendar system first off, and that is very, very smart. I love the way that they did this, right? Because the general overall idea is that all of these characters are going out of their way to participate in this tournament because the grand like overseer Roger Craig Smith is, you know, promising one wish to the overall winners, right? And so each of these characters have their own motivations as to why they feel they need to win this tournament. Now, I imagine that you are going to get a different ending based on who you play as, because obviously whoever you play as is the one that's probably meant to win the tournament, unless it has some crazy cutoff situation where we don't actually participate in that final battle. But based on what we saw in the trailer, they are fighting each other directly at some point. So I don't know how that's going to work. Like, are we going to get completely different and unique stories depending on who we're playing as? Or is it all going to tie into one, you know, specific story anyway, no matter what? I don't know. I'm very curious to see as to how that's all meant to play out. But, you know, overall, I really like that we're going back to this calendar system that's going to lead up to, you know, the tournament days or day, whatever. And, you know, what was smart about this is that, you know, you're traveling outside of the initial like introduced area or city or kingdom, whatever, and you're traveling outside to get stronger with your team. You're building up your team, you are leveling them up, you're getting stronger, right? And to do that, you are fighting in different skirmishes, you're getting to know other people, you're recruiting other people from other towns, but you're also participating in cave raids, or like, I forgot what they called it, but you're essentially like cave hopping. You're going through like all these different like little mini dungeons and stuff like that, and you're going through and fighting different enemies there. But what's intriguing as hell to me is the fact that they actually went through with the idea of having traditional turn-based combat within these caves. Like, you are like, Fire Emblem is known, the crazy thing about Fire Emblem is that it is known for its, you know, tactical RPG, or for the fact that it's a tactical RPG. So instead of, you know, playing with these characters like chess pieces on a board and utilizing them that way, we are finally, you know, dipping into like a mini like RPG, like true RPG aspect by cave dwelling and fighting all these different and unique enemies in traditional turn-based combat, and utilizing our knowledge of the characters that we've been building up to, you know, properly set up combos and team moves and stuff like that. And that is genuine. Like, I saw that and I'm like, I'm in. Like, that is what sold me. Like, why did they do that? Like, why would you give me that? Like, I'm gonna be just doing that all the time. I'm so excited, it's not even funny. Okay, so I'm really, really looking forward to that aspect specifically too, right? So there's that. Was there any other gameplay aspects that I wanted to touch up on? The blaze arts is definitely something that I really think is extremely neat, right? And it's really funny because, like, I'm looking at that, I'm like, were we inspired in any way, shape, or form? Or maybe the Genesis team for Xenoblade Genesis might have been inspired by this too, because I know there's a similarity there. They have their own like unique arts too in Genesis. I forgot what they're called, but I don't know, I feel like there's a little bit of there was definitely some internal talking there, right? So I don't know. Either way, I'm looking forward to whatever they've got going on with that, but I think that the blaze arts specifically for the main 4 are extremely neat. Now, I don't know to what extent those are used. I imagine it's going to be like a bar or a meter that, you know, throughout the fight you have to build up, take your time to strengthen, and then once it's maxed out, you can use a specific blaze art and you can nail a bunch of enemies to the wall or to the floor at once or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Like you're taking bodies by the dozen with those blaze arts, and that's really, really sick. So I am definitely looking forward to abusing all these different powers. Each of them having their own unique gimmicks too is extremely special to me. Like I love that they give you incentive to, you know, play as each of these characters and utilize their mechanics in different ways while you're traversing the map to get stronger. And that's incredible, right? So all that being said, gameplay wise, it looks genuinely immaculate. Like I cannot believe how hard they cooked this time around. Like they really did learn a lot from Engage. You can absolutely tell. So I'm really looking forward to the gameplay aspect because they have something really, really special there. So I'm delving in like day one. I can't wait. Probably gonna stream it on this channel if anybody's interested. So subscribe and stay tuned for that. Now the primary thing that we definitely need to consider here is the story, right? Now the fact that Sothis somehow grew up, got older, got bigger, whatever, and witnessed what was going on with this this massive tournament situation, and then at some point those heroes or those fighters all disappeared, and it like there's like a war going on with demon-like entities, right? There's some crazy like mishap occurred within the span of 5 years, the 5 years between, you know, the end of the world and that tournament. And we don't know exactly how that came about, but Sothis summoned us like a demigod, you, and you are essentially, the idea is that your character is supposed to be going back to the past to figure out the fate of these 4 individuals and have them help you on your journey to take down the evil entity that's taken over the planet, or maybe that area. I assume the planet at that point, right? I imagine everybody's in danger. And it's such a weird situation because it's just like the way they started the direct, right? They gave you this deep impression that you are going to be playing as these 4 individuals. You're going to be experiencing their very unique stories, and they are going to be fighting in this big tournament, and one of them is going to obtain a wish. And depending on who you're playing as, likely is who is going to obtain the wish. That's who's going to win the tournament. But the way they explained the end, it's like now it's extremely confusing, because how exactly does that work? Are we going to experience these individual stories one by one, or like interweave between them casually, and then we're going to experience the real true arc of the game? Or are we going to start with our summoned character, that's Sothis' summoned entity, and we're going to go back in time, and that's how we're going to truly experience the story? That's what's going to get us to interweave between each of the stories, and we're going to save each of them individually that way, right? It seems like they're mashing a lot of different elements into this, right? I'm always finicky when it comes to time travel stuff, but like I don't know, it seems a little bit more subtle here, in which it's a god summoned to come back to the past. Fortuna is the one, you know, helping you interweave between the past, and, you know, just kind of hopping between, you know, the situations between these 4 characters to help them out. So it's very strange. I'm not entirely sure exactly how that's going to work, but I'm intrigued enough by what they've showcased here to really want to see how they make that play out. So I don't know. Also, one thing that's really interesting that they didn't mention in the direct itself is that A, you do have a male and female version of the MC. That's, you know, the summoned MC, your character. B, that character is completely customizable. Why? I don't know why they didn't mention any of this at all. That's like a selling point in a way. Like, a lot of people are always down for custom character shenanigans, and I imagine that decisions that you make with this character are going to affect, you know, who survives between these characters. That's going to help you take on, you know, the big world-ending threat that's incoming, right? You are coming back to prevent that threat, so, you know, you have to be careful about how you go about recruiting these people. But, like, I don't know. It's really weird that they didn't talk about that at all. I don't know. Very weird. But overall, they cooked very heavily with this game. And again, I'm saying exactly what I said when it comes to Splatoon Raiders. If you own a Switch 2 and you're just sitting there waiting for the next big, like, 3D Mario or Smash title or whatever else, I'm telling you right now, you need to do yourself a favor, and you need to start playing some actual games here too, right? Not that those aren't actual games, but you got to start investing a little bit more, because I really do think that Fortune's Weave is going to be one of them ones. I'm really, really excited for this game. I've already watched the direct, technically about like 3 times now in a way, through reactions, of course, and I get so excited seeing it every time. So I'm really looking forward to Fortune's Weave. I definitely plan to do some form of playthrough, whether that's in the form of a stream playthrough or maybe even a regular Let's Play, probably on my VODs channel that I'm not, well, my Let's Play channel, I guess, that I don't really use. But, you know, I just want to have this some way. Like, I want to record my experience with this some way, because I don't get the chance to do Fire Emblem stuff very often, which is why I'm really, really, really excited for this. So, make sure to stick around for that, because I think it's going to be a lot of fun when we play through it together. But, that being said, I think I've said my piece. I'm going to go ahead and pass the mic over in your direction, and I want you guys to tell me everything that you're thinking in the comment section below. Do you agree that Fire Emblem Fortune's Weave looks really, really grand? It looks like it has a lot of quality to it and a lot of meat to it, and it has you really excited for what this game has to offer story-wise, gameplay-wise, and you're really excited like I am? Or are you on the opposing side? You feel nothing for Fortune's Weave. This game is not doing it for you. This game just is not... You know, either you don't care about Fire Emblem to that degree, or this just doesn't feel like Fire Emblem to you. Tell me everything that you guys are thinking in the comment section below, because you know for a fact that I'm always going to be down there with you guys. But with that, yes sir, it does appear to be skedaddle clocks. I'm going to go ahead and do just that. I'd like to thank you guys ever so much for watching. I truly do hope you enjoyed. Do me the greatest favor of dropping a like and a comment, and consider subscribing for more content just like this here. And with that, I'm Gonzo. Thanks again, hope you enjoyed, and I'll be seeing you guys in the next video. Do me the greatest favor of taking good ass care, and I'll see you all next time. Bye!